All right, we are recording and welcome to our Soaring Strong Nation team call, first team call for March. And I'm excited to start March out, and I'm excited to start it out today because a few of us this morning were on a call with Josh Coates. And I feel like in general, our team kind of had a rough February. It wasn't the best. We weren't hitting the numbers that we had set for goals. We weren't hitting the rank advancements. But this morning, and apparently it just was a common theme for a lot of teams, a lot of coaches, a lot of MLM businesses to really kind of struggle in February. And he started it off by saying, we are going to wipe away February right now. Regardless of what happened in February, we are wiping it away right now, and we are starting a clean slate. And that is how I want to start this call. Wiping away whatever happened or did not happen in February for your business, and we are starting over. And in his groups, we also treat every single month as January. So I want you to think about the excitement that you had in January for your business, starting a brand new year. And that's the excitement that I want you to come in this call in this month with. And he calls it January 3.0. So this is not March. This is January 3.0. I'm going to mute some people really quick. Let's see. Yes. All right. That should have worked. So I want you to treat today as this month as January 3.0. And we are going to rock this month regardless of what happened last month. But before Sarah, Lindsay, and I start, I do have a few announcements. Tomorrow night is the Fit Fighter Nation call at 8:30. Thursday is a recruiting call with Aaron and Erica. The 13th is our Advanced to Emerald call. Put that in your calendar. If you are not an Emerald, you need to be on this call on the 13th. If you have coaches that are not Emerald yet, get them on this call on the 13th. We all know that Emerald is a choice. It is a choice. If you want to be an Emerald coach, you will be an Emerald coach. And you need to be on that call to kind of help you just learn the ins and outs and how to do that. On the 18th, we have our second call of the month. On the 21st, Lindsay and I are going to read another recruiting call, very similar format to what we did last month. I loved that. I think we got really good feedback that everyone seemed to enjoy that question answer format. So we are going to give that a go again. And then on the 22nd, several of us are heading out on the Success Club cruise. So a shout out to everyone that is cruising with us this year and going to be taking that Success Club cruise. I also want to give some shout outs really quick. A shout out to Lisa, Sarah, Krista, Amber, Lindsay Smith, and Lindsay Rohr, all for hitting Success Club last month. If you have not noticed, they are sporting some super cute Soaring Strong tank tops. First time hitting Success Club this year, and you're going to get one. So if you have not hit Success Club yet, hit it this month and get one of those tank tops so you can wear one Super Saturday with us or whatever event that we're going to be wearing them to. And a really big shout out to Sarah, because Sarah has already hit Success Club this month. And what is today? I think it's like the 4th, and she's already hit like Success Club 10, 12. So a huge shout out to her before hitting Success Club. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump in because I have a lot to share, and I know they have a lot to share too. I am going to do a screen share for part of mine. I put a slideshow together because I just felt like it might be helpful for you to see this information as well as hear it. Let me remember how to do this. Okay. And we're just going to keep it up over here on the side. Lisa, I can see you. Can you see it? Awesome. Okay. I am talking tonight about overcoming objections. Because when I ask on Soaring Strong Nation's team page, what is your biggest struggle as a coach? A lot of you said it's getting people to say yes. It's getting people to join my accountability groups, my virtual gyms. It's just getting people to pull that trigger and say yes. And I feel like the reason that is happening is because you need help overcoming these objections. If you are doing what you say you are doing, which is posting every day, if you are shooting out messages every day, inviting, then hopefully this is the key that will help you. But I also want you to think about this. A lot of you said, I can't get people to say yes. And I do have this question for you to think about. Are you inviting enough people to get yeses? Because I looked at the calendar, and last month, if you invited 3 people every day, that's 84 people that you talked to. 84 people last month that you would have had conversations with if you invited just 3 people a day. Just 3 people a day. And I just have a feeling that if you invited 84 people last month, that you would have had some people that would have said yes to you. But maybe you did, and maybe the conversations aren't working. Maybe you need to talk to your upline about that, or maybe what I'm going to share with you tonight will help. All right. Overcoming objections. Objections are, and what I'm going to talk about first is how to help you not have these objections in the first place. What can you do so that these objections don't even come your way? And then I'm going to kind of talk about, and if they do, this is what you do. Objections are uncertainty of info, that the prospect doesn't have enough information to make a decision. Objections are a speed bump. I really want you to remember that. A speed bump in the process. And a lack of trust. And I put that lack of trust in red because honestly, I believe that most of the objections come from the person you're talking to having a lack of trust with you. Objections are not the final answer. We always hear no doesn't always mean no, a final no. Sarah told me not right now 7 times before she finally said yes. So objections are not a final no. And they're not a reason to get nervous. And I really am going to kind of dive into that in the next 10, 15 minutes that I have with you guys, because I think a lot of times we get objections and we immediately get nervous and we're just like, okay, that's fine. You don't want to do this? All right. I'm going to talk to the next person. It's not a reason to get nervous. Our number one objection that we typically hear is money. We used to hear time, we used to hear other objections, but Beachbody's kind of taking care of all of that stuff for us. We have a 20-minute workout now. If someone doesn't have time to do the workout at this point, you know what? I don't have anything else to say to them, honestly. You've got to have 20 minutes. They're just coming up with excuses at that point. But we do hear time a lot. So I'm gonna help you a little bit tonight with how to prevent, how to handle them, things like that. Okay, let's move on. Objections are either, I'm having to slide your all's faces out of my way. Objections are either provoked or prevented or accepted. I want to talk to you about how you talk about a movie whenever you have watched a new movie and you are so excited about it and you want to tell all your friends about this new movie. And I'm going to kind of give you a scenario because I was talking to a friend about a movie that we watched the other day. And I said, oh my gosh, it was the best movie ever. Like our entire family loved this movie. We were all up dancing and singing. And I'm pretty sure that Emma cried at some point during the movie because she really did relate to the customers. She related to the people in the movie being different and the fact that she has her hearing aid and she is different. And afterwards, after I watched this movie, I was just ready to take the world on after I watched this movie. I just got you excited about a movie and you're all wanting to know right now, and maybe some of you know because I've shared a little bit with some of you about this movie, but you're all kind of wanting to know what this movie is. I did not tell you the name of the movie. I did not tell you how many minutes the movie was. I did not tell you the cost of the movie for us to rent it. I didn't give you any facts at all about this movie. All I did was tell you why we enjoyed it, what we liked about it, how it made us feel, and you're interested in this movie now and you want to watch it. That is what we have to do. That is what we have to portray through our messages, through our social media. Think about Transform 20, for example. When you're sharing Transform 20, yes, we do kind of want to talk about that 20 minutes because that does overcome the objection of time. But we talk about what it's done for us. Or if you're moving on to 21 Day Fix, we talk about what it's done for us. We talk about how moving for 20 minutes in the morning helps us overcome anxiety, helps us be a better mom, a better wife, a better spouse. We talk about what it does for us and how it makes us feel. Because more than likely, someone out there reading your social media is going to have the same type of emotion or the same struggles in life where they're going to be able to relate and to understand, which is why you have to start with a why. And again, right now, I am just sharing with you the things that you can do to help you not even have these objections come up. Because honestly, girls, I do have objections, but not that much. Because I do a really good job at all of these steps before I invite them or before I share with them the products that I am recommending. Okay, start with a why. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. I want you to think about buying a car. You love it and you have to have it. When you are car shopping, you see it and you love it and you have to have it. Your emotions take over. And then you justify those emotions with the facts. And then you think about, well, I can afford it because I can do this, or we can sell this car, we can make this happen. But those emotions are what cause you to want to buy that car in the first place. Same thing with the products. We have to stop leading with the products. When you are messaging someone, you have to stop leading with your virtual gym or with your challenge group or with Transform 20. You have to lead with your journey and what you are doing. And and I put down here, name dropping is totally okay. If you are out at a ball game and you run into an old friend and someone says, hey, what have you been up to? Or I've seen you on Facebook, what are you doing? Saying, oh, I'm doing a Shaun T program and it is awesome, because most people know who Shaun T is. That's okay. It's okay to do that, but it's not okay to lead with it. Okay, stop the full court press. I love this because I think, and I heard someone say this in our strand where I said, what are your struggles that you have? They said, I word vomit and I just say everything. You have to stop word vomiting. And that's what I'm calling the full court press. If you were, and I'm going to give you an example. If you were, and I'm going to say at a softball field, because we're about to live at the softball field for the next 2 or 3 months. If you were at a softball field and someone comes up to you and they say, hey, I'm doing this new Beachbody workout and you've got to do it. It's awesome. This is so cool. I'm drinking this Shakeology and it's full of superfoods and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. Like, how much anxiety would that give you if someone walked up to you at the softball field or at the basketball game or whatever and you would just want to get away from them. You would want to retreat. When you are word vomiting, whenever they message you or whatever happens, that's what they feel like. They want to retreat. Start a normal conversation. If I'm at the softball field and I run into a friend, I'm going to say, which kid out there is yours? This, oh, she's doing so good. I can't believe how big she's gotten. We're going to have, what have you been up to? We're going to have a conversation and we are going to build a relationship before the business ever gets brought up. And you have to think about that in your behind the scenes messaging. You have to have a relationship first with them. And that goes back to that point that I put in red, a lack of trust. If you're just word vomiting and you're not building that relationship, there is no trust there. And why are they going to believe that they need this product from you if they don't trust you? Why are they going to believe your recommendation if they don't trust you? If they trust you and you start a normal conversation with them and you're more, and I know we've all heard this, you're more interested than you are interesting. And I know sometimes that's hard for us because we're on social media and we need to be interesting. We need to get people's attention. But in those conversations, you need to be more interested. If you do all those things, I heard someone say the other day, then you're going to recommend this and it's going to land on fertile soil. And that could not be further than the truth. I loved that whenever I heard that. Okay, I'm going to go over some of the objections now. Money. Money, 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 money. I think that is probably our biggest objection that we get as coaches is money. But you know what? We have some really awesome, amazing products that I hope that you believe in just as much as I believe in them. And you should never, ever, ever apologize for the cost of our products, ever. Because we have nothing to apologize for. We have amazing products and they work and we know that they work. So why in the world would you say, I'm sorry if someone objects because of the price? I'm not going to go over the time too much because we've kind of debunked the time with the programs that we have. Fitness level, we've also debunked that. That used to be a huge objection that I would hear. I just can't do that program that you're doing. We have so many awesome programs out there now. PiYo and yoga. I mean, we have a whole library of programs that you don't have to be experienced and you don't have to be doing X jumps in order to be able to do what we do. Okay, I guess switch my notes and switch my page. I'm trying to wrap it up, guys. I know they've got a lot too. Okay, the good versus the bad with handling objections. And I just kind of want to talk about how you're going to handle these objections. So you've done all of this that I've just talked about, but you're still getting an objection. Someone still says it just costs too much. What are you going to do and how are you going to handle it? Number one, you're going to validate what they've said and overcome it, instead of getting defensive and attacking. And something I do is I do what I call disarm it. I disarm the situation. If someone says it's expensive and, I just can't afford it, or, you know what, I just think the gym might be better for me. I just don't really, they start to get that attitude. My response always is, it is no big deal at all. If you want to join me, that's great. If not, that's fine too. I want you to do what's best for you. I'm not going to try to talk someone into doing something that they don't want to do, but I do disarm it by just saying, I want you to do what's best for you. If what I have to offer is best for you, then great, come and join me. If not, then do whatever it is that you feel like you need to do. Validate means that you say, I totally understand. I totally get that you think that it costs too much money. I remember feeling the same exact way. But I have found XYZ. I remember that I had to explain to my husband that it's only $4 a serving and you spend more than that at the gas station. Share your experiences with them. Confidence versus uncertainty. The more you do this, the more that you overcome these objections, the better you're going to get at it and the more confident you're going to get at it. You have to jump in the trenches and you have to start doing this. Because if you don't, you're not going to become confident at it. When I have an objection thrown at me now, I don't blink before I know what to do. Like, I just know, I've just got it handled. And that just comes from 6 years of me overcoming these objections over and over and over and over again. You just have to practice. And the more you know about these products, the better you are going to be at explaining them. So educate yourself. Educate. Pull up the things that you need to learn about it. Using a story versus facts and convincing. I'm not going to go into that too much more because I feel like I already kind of talked about how we use our stories instead of just spitting out the facts at them. Asking questions versus avoiding conflict. Again, I want you to treat objections as a speed bump. Do not assume that you know what their objection is. Don't assume because someone is being quiet that maybe they think it's too expensive. Because if you start assuming that, you start saying things that's going to lead them to then themselves start to think that it's too expensive and maybe they shouldn't be purchasing this. Ask questions. Ask them why. Ask why, what's holding you back? That's something I say a lot. If someone's quiet and someone's kind of ghosting the conversation and they haven't responded the last few messages, I'll just say, something holding you back, or do you have more questions that you need to ask me? And then typically they'll kind of spill it and tell me what's holding them back. Okay, that is the end of my slideshows, but I do want to give you guys a couple of scenarios really quick. Let me stop share. Oh, look at these beautiful faces that jumped on. Yay. Okay, I'm going to give you a few scenarios, and then I'm going to hand it over to Sarah really quick. Okay, scenario number one, I've got my notes here so I don't forget them. Scenario number one is, what happens whenever someone immediately asks how much? Maybe you've posted something on social media and they immediately comment and say how much. If they do that on social media, I say, that kind of depends on you. Why don't we take this conversation to a private message and I can help you out some. I bring it out of the social media post and I take it behind the scenes. But what if they message me privately and they say how much? And that's the first thing they want to know. And I haven't been able to explain the value to them. I haven't been able to do any of that. They just want to know how much immediately. I say that depends on you. Again, same thing. That depends on you and how you enroll and what you need. What you need. I think that's probably the key words in that. Let me ask you a few questions and then we're going to go from there. And then I start asking them questions. I still don't give them any prices because honestly, we still don't know what they need. Maybe they want Energize, maybe they don't. We don't know. Okay, so that was kind of the first scenario when they jump in immediately and ask you that. Okay, next, you've shared the value, you've shared the facts. They haven't asked how much, but they're saying that seems like a lot of money. Like, you know, you shoot them that price and you hold your breath and you walk away from your computer or whatever you do. And then you get the response of, that just seems like a lot of money, or I just don't know if I can afford that. That's when I bring it back again to me and I say, I validate it. I totally understand. I remember feeling the exact same way. I remember having to see what we could cut out or what we could do. I share my story and my experience with them. But then I also say, but are you serious about getting those results that you wanted? Are you serious about needing to lose that 25 pounds before your wedding? Are you serious about this? I always bring it back to what they message me about to start with, because our conversations always start with their goals and their needs. And I pull it back in. When they tell me it's too expensive, I remind them of why they messaged me in the first place. Okay, last one. And this one's just Shakeology, because I think we all hear a lot, Shakeology is just expensive. Like, that's just too expensive. I just can't do that. Shakeology is too expensive. I can just eat real food. I hear it, so I'm sure that you hear it. Shakeology is not expensive if you break it down day by day. Shakeology is not expensive based on what you are getting from it. But it is a knee-jerk reaction that people are having, and you have to realize that. It's a knee-jerk reaction to $130, $140 for 30 days, and they immediately kind of flip out, and they weren't expecting that. It's okay. When they say that's just too expensive, don't stop there. Don't just say, okay, I get it, and back up. Explain to them it's $4 a day. It's about that's what I always say. It's about $4 a day. $4 a day, and it replaces a meal. $4 a day, and it's going to help you with your cravings. $4 a day, and my OB/GYN told me I don't have to take any other vitamins, so I get to save on that. It's $4 a day. A lot of people are thinking that this is just a protein shake. Just a protein shake, and they can just go to the store and get whatever else they want. So it's your job to educate them, and it's your job to share because it's like $4.30 a day. So it's about $4 a day. All right, hopefully that helps you a little bit with overcoming those objections. I'm going to hand it over to Sarah now, and she is going to tell you how to get organized so that you can have these conversations and overcome these objections.
Hey, everybody. Okay, I'm kind of dark over here. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm going to talk about time management, but yeah, a little more organizing and things like that. I was thinking about how a lot of times as coaches, we hear this all the time, and its parallels are with our health and fitness journey and a coaching journey. You know, it's the same kind of excuses sometimes, like I just don't have time, or I don't have time to work my business. Just like I don't have time to do a workout or meal plan. You know, it's all the same kind of things where what it comes down to is making that choice and making your priorities, right? So I was thinking about how lack of time becomes an excuse, and then a lack of time management becomes, I can't do this. And from there, a lack of planning becomes, this isn't working for me. And I think whenever I stepped back, which I'm going to talk about time management tonight, I thought, what is the key? What is the one thing that keeps me organized? Because I am a hot mess. Everyone that knows me knows this. I am not organized in any way. I sent my first grader to school in pajamas the other day, and it wasn't pajama day. I am a mess, you guys. So if I can do this, if I can pull this together, if I can work a full-time job, have 2 kids, still make mistakes and not be perfect and be okay with that, we can do this, all right? So we just have, and the key to all of this has been, and I'm not saying I'm busier than anybody else, or that I'm just saying everybody has different lives and different priorities. But if we can make the foundation planning and being proactive, then our time management becomes much easier and much more tangible and doable, and we can start to see how it is possible to be productive in the time that we give our business, in the time that we give our family, in the time that we commit to our work and our friends. So what we need, whenever we step back and start thinking about planning, we do need to have priorities, right? We do need to think about what we want to accomplish. Back again to the parallels with our health and fitness goals. What is our goal? You know, and when it comes to our business, I think we have to say, if you want to take it to an income level, I need to make this much this month. I want to change this many lives. I want to add this many coaches to my team. You can look at that end goal for the month, but you have to work backwards. And you have to decide how much action is that going to take to get to that point. Like Megan said, if you invited 3 people a month or 3 people a day, then, you know, that's being consistent, and that is going to get you enough people that start to want to come on board with you and trust you, and it's that consistency, all right? So we can be more productive with our time by planning. And I want to give you just some things that I do personally that might be helpful. We have a calendar. It seems simple, but I think a lot of people go through life without really having an organized calendar or an organized budget or a meal plan or what, you know, we're just kind of floating through day to day, trying to just like bat away the unexpected things when we wake up in the morning. But if we have a plan, we can start with a calendar, and it's just kind of like the containers, you know, like if you have this thing that you know you have to use, just like a calendar, you have these tools at your disposal, then use them and they can make you more productive. So I was going to kind of show you, let me screen share. And if this makes you want to like back off and go, oh my God, that's like the most crazy looking calendar I've ever seen, then this doesn't have to be your calendar, obviously. And I can't see it because the little square's in the way. Hold on. Where are we at? Okay. So this is actually a calendar that I use. I use Google. You can use pen and paper. It doesn't matter. You can use a wall calendar. But I have Google where I have shared calendar with my husband. I have my work calendar, which is in light blue. I have reminders in green. I have Beachbody in orange. And I have some of these are other work things, but I have it all in one spot. I have our kids' activities, okay? We have gymnastics. I have it all in one place. And I try to do it ahead of time. You know, as soon as I know something's going to happen, I will put it on here. And if it involves our family, I put it on the family calendar so that Rich knows about it too. All right. And there are so many options you can use for calendars. There's apps. I know I've heard Megan talk before about an app. If you want to type it in, what it is that you use like for a family calendar, that's really helpful. But I think when it comes to time management, you cannot look at it as a just me thing. If you have a family or if you have people that you have as priorities in your life that you share time with, you have to be open with them and share that time with them too and tell them what's going on. So weekly, well, first monthly, I look ahead toward the end of the month. So at the end of February, I get a calendar out and I say, what's coming? When are our team calls? You know, they're always the first and third Monday. Fit Fighter Nation's always the Tuesday. What are our launch dates for Beachbody? You know, I look at it from a business perspective, and I try to make sure I'm planning ahead. I'm thinking ahead. Do I want to run a free group for that? Do I want to run a challenge group? And, you know, I love launches, and I think that we always have to be ready to capitalize on those. I flip and rock launches, you guys, and it's because I plan ahead. And I love launches. I put the energy into it and thinking, and it's because I plan ahead. That's why I've already hit Success Club, because I've been planning ahead and talking to people about what's coming. So I use that calendar to know when to start doing that. The other thing is with the monthly is that you want to share that with your family again. That's what I was saying, like team calls. And it's not just monthly, but then like weekly on Sundays. I always say to Rich, hey, my team calls this week are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. That's this week. Or maybe it's just once a week. Or I don't have any team calls this week. But that way we know we've got to be a team, and he's going to help get the kids to bed. It's not surprise. I tell the kids, because they're not going to be surprised then. Oh my gosh, Mommy, you never put me to bed. No, I do. Okay, we're being dramatic. I told you we had this team call tonight. You're going to be okay. All right. So just that communication is so key and critical to keeping your family on board with what you're doing. So on Sundays, there are so many things you can do to help you during the week. Just like meal planning, you can schedule your challenge group posts ahead of time. You can go ahead and plan out what you're going to do on social media. You can do all these things to help yourself so that when it's Wednesday morning and you go, oh my God, I was supposed to post in my challenge group this morning and I forgot, that prevents you from then saying, this isn't working for me. It doesn't mean we don't make mistakes or we don't forget things, but it sure helps a lot to be proactive and think ahead. The other thing I want to always put in my calendar each week is when I'm going to work my business. I plan when I'm going to do my workout. I plan when I'm going to get up in the morning, and I say, I'm going to work. I get up at 5 a.m. Lindsay and I are on there on a Zoom call. If anybody else wants to join us at 5 a.m., you can have the Zoom and we do it together. But you don't have to do it at 5 a.m. You just have to plan a time when you want to do it. And you have to set it and just do it, just like your workout. And then when you do sit down to work. Don't scroll Facebook. Don't get stuck in Instagram stories. I could sit and watch Beachbody coaches on Instagram stories all day long because I love it and I like to get ideas, but I'm not gaining any kind of productivity that way. I could say I'm training, I guess, but really, do I really need to watch Danielle Natoni do she has like 800 stories a day? Do I really need to watch all those to get value out of it? Probably not. I'd probably be better off sending invitations to people about my challenge group and about my free group for Ultimate Mindset. I just combined 2B Mindset and Portion Fix into one program. Do you hear that? Okay. All right. So here's some actions that I think that you can take. Set your business hours. Right now, look at your calendar, look ahead. When are you going to work this week? All right. You need to be intentional. And by that, I mean, don't sit down without a plan. Don't sit down and say, well, I'm supposed to do something. Now what am I going to do? If you have a plan, then you can take action as soon as you sit down. That's why we have the business activity tracker. That's why we have these tools for us. And we make sure that when you sit down, you know immediately what you're going to do. And you're going to write down who you connected with. Because you know what? In a few days, that can be somebody you invite. And in a few days, that can be somebody you follow up with. So then you always have an activity to do when you sit down. And you always feel productive. And you always have to, and then when you're done with that time, you can shut it off. You've done your thing. And then you can go to your next block of whatever it is. If it's doing your workout, if it's family time and shutting everything off, you can feel like I did the work and I can move on. Okay. And like I said, you want to track what you're doing. Make sure you're doing that, because if you're not, then you are going to sit down and wonder what to do. Don't sit down and write out a post and then look at it for 20 minutes. Don't sit down and like write an invite and then hesitate hitting send the invite. Just send it. What's the worst thing that can happen? Right? Just send the thing. It's awesome. Just the more you do it, the more it feels good, because like Megan was saying, when you're leading with that excitement in that story, then people are going to respond. So don't be afraid. Okay. All right. I think that's what I have on time management. I'm done.
Awesome.
Did I manage my time
Yeah, you did a great
well in
job.
this call.
The only other thing before Lindsay takes over that I wanted to mention that always helped me was having one area, one spot where I worked my business. That way I could always come back to it. Everything was there. My lists were there, everything I needed. It doesn't have to be an office. For me, for years, it was just an area of our dining room table that I just had set up as my little office there. I think that saves a lot of time too from you having to look for notebooks or this or that or whatever. So I am now going to hand it over to Lindsay to wrap us up.
All right. Hi, everyone. Before I get started, as goofy as this might seem to you, I need everyone to stand up and shake your body. I don't care if it's a stretch. I don't care if it's anything. And I'm going to talk to you about why. So just stand up, do a stretch, whatever you need, shake it out. If you like to dance, do some cha-cha. I don't care what it is, but change your physiology right now. So if you're just sitting down, I don't need to call anybody out here, do I? I see some of you sitting on your booties. Get up. Okay. Shelby, did you get up? Okay, just get your hands up and do a yoga sitting stretch or something. I need something from you. Shelby and I did yoga teacher training together, so she's my girl who needs movement right now. All right, so confidence. It comes with energy, and you have the power within you to create energy in any point of any day. And changing our physiology, changing what our body is doing. Like the other day, I had a meltdown. I was going home from church. I was moved, and something happened in my life that was really, really frustrating. And I was sobbing. My kids were in the back seat, quiet as could be, sleeping. And I sat there, and I was kind of in this really bad feeling. I was feeling very down and honestly sorry for myself. Honestly, I had no confidence whatsoever in who I was and what I was up to in my life in general. It was one of those like rock bottoms in a sense. And I got out of the truck. I got my kids inside, and I sat down on the couch where I started to sob again. And it was at that point where I stood up and I decided that I was going to move. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a workout or yoga because I wasn't sure what my body needed. But after I did it and after I got done with that, I felt better. And I think what allows us to feel a lack of confidence in this life is the moment, and honestly, probably a series of moments in your life where you don't believe that you can change it that quickly. So tonight, when I speak on confidence, I want to invite you all to think of this. You have the power and you create the energy. But that's not to say that there are going to be in times of your life where you're going to feel so flippin' low that you just want to sit there and you just want to cry and you just want to feel all the feels, right? But it's in those moments that we know this sense of tribe, that we need to get energy from the people we know that have it. And Josh Coates' group, for anybody who's in there, he talked about his energy today. Megan talked about how, he was like breathing energy into us. And he said, if you're not showing up on these calls and you paid $600 for me, you're not getting my energy and you're not getting the most of what this is. You're like filling out some charts and doing all that. And it really kind of resonated with me because I thought to myself, like, if I just sat at home as a stay-at-home mom and kind of sulked in my own emotions, then I'm not making the effort that is required to create energy. And confidence is energy. Confidence is something that will forever be changing. And you need to know when to pick yourself up. You need to know how to draw in the positive energy that makes you confident. And you also need to consider a few other things that are going to come into play on the confidence in your life. So, two things: personal confidence and professional confidence. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet, but if you all want any more resources on this, I want you to reach out to me or ask questions on Soaring Strong Nation, because I have a lot more from Dr. Margaret Paul, who speaks on confidence and it being energy. And I loved this. She says, it's never too late to value ourselves. Your inner qualities that you were born with are what are going to make you feel confident. It's not the titles. It's not the accolades. It's not what successes you have right here and right now. In order for you to feel confident, it needs to come from you appreciating what's deep inside you. You have an ability to love. You have an ability to be kind. You have an ability to show compassion and be empathetic to other people. You have the ability to listen. You have the ability to speak and communicate. Your basic goodness is what is your inner qualities that you need. It's your job to appreciate in order to feel confident. And too often, and we know this in the coaching world, I mean, I know it too well. There are so many people, so many humans, but women very specifically, who lack confidence because they've grown up in an environment where they felt shame and guilt. They grew up, and this image came into my head when I was reading all these articles that she's written about confidence, because I really wanted to come to you with something tonight that showed an illustration of this. And we actually got this in yoga teacher training too. I invite you to close your eyes and imagine yourself as a little girl, since we're all female here. So try it. Close your eyes and imagine little Lindsay, little Megan, little Luana. Imagine yourself as a little girl. And imagine your adult self coming up to that little girl and telling her all of the beautiful things that you see in her, as though it was your own child. Take a moment. Don't just tell her one thing. Tell her 3 to 5 things that you see and know about her and her inner goodness. Because there are sure as hell way more than 3 or 5 things good and beautiful about her. About every little girl, right? But you know you. And you know your strengths. And you know what there is to love about you. So if, you can go ahead and open your eyes. And I want you to write down 3 to 5 words that came to mind about what's good about you. Your inner qualities that you see. And we're going to use these. I'm going to take this further. I'm going to take it on home tonight. Okay? So your personal confidence comes there. And if you grew up in a household, my parents they were trying to build 2 businesses from the ground up. I'll tell you what, when I got into the car after school, it wasn't usually reflecting on, oh, how'd you do today? Were you kind to another person? Were you empathetic? It was, get in the car, we got to go, we got to get to the next thing. All right? And I think about, being able to nurture our inner selves when we were children, and the kind of conversations that we would have that would nurture that would be, what did you do today that showed kindness? What did you do today that made you great or that showed your strengths? And to the little girl who loved to dance, where did you dance today? To the little girl who loved to get on the microphone and speak her heart out, what did you speak about today? To the little girl who loved the science project, what kind of project did you put together today? And think about that, those inner things about you, okay? And then we come to this adult life, right? And if you felt shame and guilt in the past, then your inner dialogue is likely telling that little girl, you're not good enough. You didn't work hard enough. And all of that stuff that was so great, all of our inner dialogue no longer hones in on what is good about you. Okay? So I want you to distinguish the inner dialogue that comes from guilt and shame. And I want you to cling to. We're going to start writing these things down every day. The things that build confidence in you. Because they are innately, intrinsically everything that you are. And that is beautiful about you. And all that other stuff, it doesn't matter. That came from someone else. That came from negative lies and beliefs, the devil, whatever you want to call it. It's not meant for you. And if you're not going to go say that to that little girl, you better not be saying it every single day to yourself. If it comes up, you're human, it will. You need to armor yourself with the words that are going to fight it, okay? So real quick, I wish I could go into this more, but I'm going to respect your all's time. When you get to professional confidence and where you're going with any business, with any career field that you're in, the more you learn and practice a particular skill, the better you become at it. Megan just said this, and it was like, I'm so glad she said that because that's part of what I want to talk about. The more confidence that you gain when you practice it over and over and over. The best public speakers, Tony Robbins and Rachel Hollis come to mind. Rachel has a bunch of YouTubes where she was using 3x5 note cards, and she's like fumbling over her words, and she wouldn't be getting paid millions of dollars every year the way that she is now if that little Rachel with her note cards was sitting there doing that. So think about that. And she talks about that a ton. Lady Gaga's speech and during the Oscars, was it? She just talked about this moment, it does not define who I am. All of the really hard, ugly work that took me to get here is what did. So don't you for 1 second stop. Okay? So when we think about it like that and we think about building confidence in our professional self, you want to remember that believing in what you do does not define who you are. Okay? When you lack personal confidence, no matter how successful you are professionally, you're still not going to gain confidence personally or professionally. You gotta harbor or hone in on that inner quality that is going to help you get to where you need to be professionally. Okay? A confidence as an adult does not come from other people's approval. It comes from valuing both who you are and then what you do, and create a deep level of understanding who you are and where your confidence really comes from. Confidence is not this magical unicorn that you have to grasp, and some people can get it and some people can't. Oh no, sisters. This is you creating the energy that you need to be confident in yourself and be confident in the work that you're up to. You get to do it. Okay? So here is my 5 and 5 that I have created based on what Rachel does, based on what I do in my Miracle Morning. And I want to challenge, especially everybody here who's on this call, because guess what? When you're here live, energy's alive. When you're here live, I hope that you take way more home than if you're listening to the playback. But if you're listening to the playback, kudos to you. No shame or guilt there. But I want you to know this, you're here at 9:51 p.m. on a Monday night. That says so much about you and the work that you're in. So take that energy, feel it, and be it, okay? So this is going to be our 5 and 5 journal. And the only thing that's going to change, you're going to write down the same 25 things. I mean, don't let that number sound overwhelming here because it's not. It's a list of 25 things that are going to help you succeed, and not just becoming confident in your personal being, not just becoming confident in your professional being, but also becoming confident in what you do every single day. When someone asks you, what's something you do every single day? You should be able to say, I do my 5 and 5. And it comes naturally. You don't have to think about it, and you should be proud of it. Okay? So the first thing is the only thing that's going to change, and that's 5 things that you're grateful for. Many of you are already doing this. So guess what? It's no extra work. It's what you're already doing. Okay? 5 things that you're grateful for. And that should change every day. Okay? The next 4 things that I'm going to give you will stay the same every day after you really figure out that it's helping you and that you want to keep it. Okay? So 5 weekly affirmations about your inner self. So one thing that I've been doing in the past is like, oh, I'm not organized. My affirmation is going to be, I'm organized. I'm sorry. You want to know what kept coming up every single day for me? Gosh, Lindsay, you're not organized still, and you've been writing this down for so long. No. Sisters, this is what I'm doing now. Lindsay, you're really good at connecting with other people. I put down that affirmation. I'm appreciating something that I know is a strength of mine, that I love about me and that little girl. I love that about her. Sometimes I feel too much. Sometimes I have people in my past who've told me, why you got to talk to everybody in the coffee shop, Lindsay? You want to know what? Shame and guilt, get away. I know you didn't mean to be the devil, but you were in my life today. And so think about it like that. 5 affirmations that come from your inner self, that things you know are your strengths. And if you're having a hard time finding 5 things that are great about you, go to your best friend, go to one of your girlfriends on this team and ask them, and they will help you see the best in yourself. You need that in your life. Okay? Next, 5 dreams that are happening because you're in the work, okay? So in the Start Today journal, I love it. There is a podcast from Rachel Hollis that I think the title of it is Start Today. And she walks you through a whole process of how to come. She does 10 dreams that you're saying already happened. Okay, I'm going to narrow it down to 5 because I think that that's doable, more doable for us here. And I really think once you get this going, it won't even take you 5 minutes. Okay, and if you already have a morning routine, I hope that this just kind of ties in with it. The things that you're already doing, you can just do as part of this. And the things that you're not doing, this will only take a small snippet of time for. Okay? But check that out if you want to know more about how to get your 10 dreams down. But one thing that I highlighted in here is that a goal is a dream with work boots on. A full visualization, asking yourself to close your eyes and envision the best version of yourself, your best life, where you live, what your family looks like, what hobbies you're able to partake in regularly, how much money you're making, if that's important to you so that you can live this life. That's one of mine. Okay? And those 5 dreams, ladies, are things that you're making happening and things that are going to help you every day because you're writing it down every single flipping day. If I want to learn Spanish and I want to learn my entire life, and I keep saying that, but I haven't taken one class or looked at one Spanish dictionary or doing anything, why the heck am I writing it down? And I need to determine, is it important to me that I do this? Is it that big of a dream? Then what the heck am I doing today to make it better? And that could be to learn 1 word a day. Google it, right? So for you, what is it? What are those big dreams that you have for you? For you. Like I have dreams for my son and my daughter, but that's a separate activity for me. This is for me, how I'm living my best life to be the best person for all of the people that I love. Okay? Next, 5 personal goals for the week. Now, this is something as coaches and is in the professional realm that I talked about. You can't define who you are based on what other people have told you and made you feel guilt and shame. But you also can't define who you are and who you're becoming by things that you're never putting in the work for. And for me, I had SC20. Okay, I've been in the business almost 3 years now. So if that sounds like a huge number to you, don't worry about it at all. You let your goal be your goal. But I had SC20 as my goal for January, and I had SC30 as my goal for February. I got SC6 both months. I'm going to be real raw and honest with you. I let life get in the way. I didn't do half of the work in either one of those months to hit SC20 or SC30. Who the hell did I think I was? Because honestly, I had this big goal, and I was talking to Megan, who's my success partner, about it. And I was like, I want this to happen. I want this to happen. And I wasn't doing the work. I was going and doing things with my girlfriends or my family before to do it. And if I really want to make the money, if I really want to hit these goals, I have to make sacrifices, and I have to 10x this. And that's on me. So for all of us, instead of having this big goal, I need SC6 every week or more in my case, right? So why am I just waiting till the end of the month to make it happen? So for all of us, I challenge us all to try to help one person get signed up by Saturday at the end of every week. And if you make a weekly goal instead of a monthly goal, a lot more is going to happen. And you can even take that down to daily goals, but that's up to you on how you do this. But I think 5 personal goals for the week and 5 business goals. So I wanted to differentiate that, just like we did with thinking about our inner qualities and our professional qualities. I think that it's important to do this too. Okay? So the last 2 are 5 personal goals for that week and 5 business goals for that week. Me, personal goals, I work out every day. I've been doing it for 2 years. So I'm not going to put workout every day. What's one thing, though, that I could do to up that? It needs to be tangible goals that are more specific, and that's important. I need to do 10 push-ups a day consecutively and to track it, because my arm strength and my core strength aren't as good as where they need to be. So I'm changing, what I would have put 2 years ago is work out every day, Lindsay, don't skip anymore. And now I know that that's already going to happen, so I'm making it more specific. Same thing with my business goals. It's no longer SC20 for the month. It's SC6 by this Saturday. Okay? So those things are weekly. So the whole week, you should write the same thing. But then at the end of the week on Sunday, what I put is every Sunday night, map out this 5 for 5 plan. Okay? And after you write it, instead of just letting it be something that you scribble down as fast as you can to get it done in 5 minutes, I would take a moment just for silence, for breathing exercise. If you're a yogi, like meditation, or for any of you in prayer, just like praying over it and saying, like, this is what I want to happen. Like, I know that this can happen for me. And maybe there's an affirmation that you need to focus on. Okay. So be present with yourself and know that, like Sarah talked about with making a plan in organization, it can start with 5 and 5. And what Megan's talking about, when we're really kind of focusing in on the work that we're getting done, and that when we practice a skill over and over again, I mean, it is proof. Like the 5 for 5 that I'm talking about is our own team version of what the Start Today journal is. And I'm writing down the same things over and over, but I cannot tell you how much more clarity that I have, even in discussions with my husband or my parents, where they'll like talk about something that I'm doing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because I'm working towards this bigger goal. And I say those things to them, and honestly, my parents might think I'm crazy, but they are very clear in what I'm up to. And my husband and I, it's just making things better in our communication to each other, because he knows that I'm not just on this call and training other coaches just to speak. I'm doing this because I have dreams to build a team and to allow our team to go to Disney together and do some other things. So I'm going to stop right there. Thank you for your time. And I hope that this helps breathe life into what you know as confidence, maybe what you knew in the past as confidence, and you start to shift your idea on what that is. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.